Hey chat, it's me Finn, with a Y, not Flynn, not Finn with an I, but Finn with a Y. And today I want to talk about death. So, I was thinking about this, I was remembering a while back, me and my dad went on a walk around the lake. I was talking about hoping to acquire some of my Nana's property that she has on the shore. And I was like, and then, I'll just be out there, be one with nature, and then when I'm ready to die, I'll just go out into the woods in the middle of nowhere, sink my body into the earth, and then I'll just die and I'll be happy. And my dad was like, people your age really shouldn't think about death so much. So, I wanted to talk about that. Why do I think about it so much? And also a couple other questions. That's mirrored for you. It's not for me, because I live in the fourth dimension and you don't. Imagine. So, death. First of all, why do I think about it so much? Let me preface this by saying I'm not suicidal. I don't want to die right this second.
So you guys, if you have to do the...
Okay, sorry, my mom was asking me what time I want to get my blood work done. I'm getting it done in December. Usually when I go to the endocrinologist, I have to get my blood done so they can check my testosterone levels. But also, I'm making my parents also get my blood typed for me as a Christmas gift, because I've always wanted to know. Because we're learning about that in biotech right now. Anyway, why do I think about death so much? As I said, not suicidal. I don't want to die right this second. But I do think about death in a passive way. Not like thinking about wanting to die. Just thinking about what it is. Because it intrigues me so much. To think... I guess this also kind of goes with afterlife stuff. I'll start by saying I don't believe in God. I've tried to. I promise. You can post a Bible verse or a Quran verse or a Torah verse in my comments if you want. Unfortunately, it's just not my thing. If I go to hell, that'll suck for me. But I just can't force myself to believe in something that I don't believe in. So, the way I think about death is, and this is kind of scary for me, slightly. Obviously, if you're dead, you're not going to know that you're scared, but... So when you go to sleep, let's just say you just don't dream, but it's just, you just go to sleep, you don't remember when you fell asleep, like the exact moment when you fell asleep because your brain was turning off. All you know is that you went to sleep at some point and then woke up and like 8 hours had passed and you didn't know the difference. It felt like a second. Obviously, if you're still, when you're alive, you dream, and that is kind of an indicator of time passing sometimes, depending on, how aware you are in your dreams or not. But, so the time would just pass like that. Sorry, I never learned how to snap. The time would just pass like that, and you would not know the difference. So I'm thinking, when I die, it's gonna... obviously death is just like sleeping because it's the same thing. It's unconsciousness. Sleep is just a 8-hour free trial of death. Okay, my fucking family keeps talking. My sister is bitching about taking her shot. Shut up! So, you'll just be unconscious. It's the same thing. Sleep is an 8-hour free trial of death, except you also get to have cool dreams. Sometimes nightmares. God forbid. I actually have surprisingly few nightmares for a person who's been on melatonin for several years. And you just won't know. You'll just be you will be unconscious. It's like you're asleep without dreams. It's like you're asleep. Literally, when you sleep and that time skip happens, you have no perception of time when you're unconscious. If you're in a coma for 10 years, you're not going to know that 10 years has passed. You'll just be dead. Literally, forever. You'll be dead for a bajillion times longer than you were ever alive. You'll die. The entire, trillions of years will pass. The universe will die and be born and die and be born and die and be born again. You will never know the difference. That is fucking scary to me. Because at least when you sleep, you know that you're going to wake up. I mean, usually, most of the time. Never know. Happened to Cameron Boyce. A rip. A soldier. You will never know. The heat death of the universe will happen, and it will still feel like a second, but it won't feel like really anything because you'll be dead and you won't be aware that the time is passing anyway. So, I mean, that's like the typical, I guess, atheist perspective. I really don't want to consider myself an atheist because those people are kind of annoying, but that's a typical non-God believing perspective, is that there's just nothing forever. Just darkness and unconsciousness, and you'll never be aware and you won't know. You want to know what's scarier than that, though, is being unconscious forever, but being aware, and you can feel time passing. Fucking imagine that. Imagine you're just there. Like, sorry, I play with my hair a lot. It's like a subconscious thing. You're just there, alone with your thoughts, forever. I cannot fucking stress to you how long forever is. Oh, I just got an idea. Okay. I mean, that fucking terrifies me. I have these moments sometimes where I, like, will zoom out on myself, like a sort of depersonalization. I guess it probably looks weird with me looking myself in the eyes right now, but I feel like it might be weirder if I just make direct eye contact with the camera. I zoom out on myself as like a person and my consciousness. I'm like, whoa, I'm aware. I'm in this body, and this is the only thing I will ever experience, and I'm just living in this human vessel, and I'm gonna fucking die one day, and that'll be it, and I won't know anything else. That's really scary to me. Like, my heart rate goes up. I can't force, I mean, I honestly might be having that right now that I mention it, but I'm just not thinking about it too hard. My foot is falling asleep again. Well, it's just my foot is falling asleep and my legs are in pain. Guys, sitting cross-legged does not feel good. So, those are my theories. I mean, obviously, among other theories, that's also something I dislike about religion, is there's no objective truth. Obviously, everyone's going to say, my religion is right and everybody else's religion is wrong. Everybody will say that, no matter what their religion is. My religion is right, your religion is wrong. That's the end of that. We'll never know for sure who's right and who's wrong. You know, but pretty much any religion, if they're right, then I'm going to hell. Fuck my stupid baka life, bro. And I don't know what to think about that. I mean, there's not really much I can do. I'm kind of fucking, if I'm gonna go to hell for being gay, I was doomed for eternity, like, since the beginning, and I'm just gonna have to deal with that. There's just nothing I can do. It's such a shame that I made the choice to be gay. I did this to myself. So, that being said, is it possible to be ready to die? I've thought about this question a lot since my grandma passed away in January. R.I.P. Grandma. And my mom told me this story, because she was in the hospital with her when she died. I mean, they're going to give her some medicine, basically, that would put her out, like probably a lethal dose of morphine or something. And they were discussing it, and Grandma, I mean, obviously she was just like sitting there, not really aware or conscious or anything. I mean, she was conscious, but not aware. Just kind of her body just drifting through space. And they were discussing it, and when they were about to do it, she turned to my granddad, and he said that she just gave him the most beautiful smile, and then she died. So, that makes me think, She was ready to die. She was okay with dying. Do I think that that's possible? I don't know. I mean, obviously, that story, her and my granddad have inspired a few big ideas. They're the reason I believe in true love. They went on a freaking. He saw her at a baseball game talking to some of his friends, and he's like, "Can you set me up with her?" And they're like, "Sure." And they went on a date, and then they went on a few more dates, and then they got married, settled down, had 2 kids, and then were married for 50 plus years. So they're the reason I believe in true love. Guys, by the way, never shy away from love. It's okay. This lighting is low-key bad. So yeah, they're the reason I believe in true love. And I think my grandma is probably the reason why I believe it's possible to be ready to die. I mean, I'm not ready right now. Like, if the Grim Reaper was standing behind me right now, which he's not, I would not be ready to die right this second. But I think when I'm old, I mean, she had cancer. She had been suffering for so long and been in so much pain, and like, I would be ready to let go from that too. There comes a time when I guess, obviously this isn't me speaking from experience. I personally have never died before. Don't know about you guys, but there comes a time when I guess you realize that staying alive is going to be so much fighting, and you know you can't do that forever. Nobody can live forever. Not even those Chinese emperors that like drank mercury or fucking whatever to try and become immortal. No, dingus. Nobody's immortal. And nobody's invincible. So, I mean, we all must die. Did you guys know that? That's news to me, is that everybody dies. So I guess you just have to come to terms with dying. You have to meet it halfway. I mean, you can't run away from death forever. You just have to meet death. And you can either be afraid of it and run from it and try so desperately and cling on to this mortal realm, or just accept that shift. I mean, there's really, obviously at a certain point, your body just can't fight any longer. But does that mean, I think that means that, like, your body is not you. I mean, I believe that for a number of other reasons, but, you know, your body is not you. The concept of, like, a soul, that you are aware of your body, and so that there must be something inside of you, and it's not just your brain, which makes you capable of thinking things, but it's also that there's some kind of soul inside of you, and that's what makes you able to let go of the body, because you know that there is something beyond the body. To be aware of that is unique, and is not everything with a brain is self-aware. Humans are, some animals are, I think dogs are, but cats aren't. You know, when they like look in a mirror, whether or not they recognize it as themselves or just think that it's something else. You know, that's a unique thing. And for a body, if you were just a body, if there was no soul, a body could not accept there being any existence outside of the body. There must be something in there. In my opinion. IMO. So yeah. Speaking of immortality, don't know if you guys have ever read it. This web comic / web novel, I call it a web novel because it's not really comic, called 17776. It was a phenomenal read. Oh my god. That was the most interesting thing I've read like ever in my life. Where, no spoilers, I would recommend that you go read it yourself, although this is like completely, entirely spoilers. Now, this is just the premise of it. I'm not going to tell you how it ends, because I didn't even really understand. I'd like to reread it. Is that I think at some date in April 2026, humans stopped being born, stopped dying, and stopped aging, and stopped getting sick. So everybody, I mean, they clarify later on, any baby that was in utero at that time was born and then lived. So everybody just lived forever. And I've always thought, if I found out I was going to be immortal and have to live forever, I said I'd probably just kill myself. But that story made me feel differently. Because you know what these people do? First of all, they solve all the world's problems. Poverty, homelessness, like fucking everything. They solve all the world's problems. And then after that, obviously, there's not a whole lot to do. So you know what these people do? They fucking play football. Do I have my state map puzzle? I don't think I do, because I can never remember what states are on either side of Nebraska. The football field is the entire state of Nebraska. And the end zones are either border, like horizontally, of Nebraska. And these games, they last for decades, centuries even, millennia. And they just never get tired of it. They never get tired of living. There's something to do. That you just play football. If you're bored, you play football. You write football games. Like, they're not just football. They're designed to last for an incredibly long time, because obviously these people are going to be living forever. You write a completely unique game that has something to do with football, and you just play it for thousands of years. God, imagine that. Imagine being so dedicated to being alive. I've never thought myself capable of doing that I would be able to find something to do. I just thought I'd be so cripplingly bored if I was going to be immortal and just live forever. I just have nothing to do. But you know what? I changed my mind. Maybe if I became immortal, I'll just play football. So, I guess I kind of placed that weirdly chronologically, but then I wanted to talk about like the romanticized idea of death that I think I have, and like versus the genuine disgustingness and horror and indignity that is physical death. I've always kind of romanticized death as being some sweet release where, you're not in pain, or you're comfortable, or you're happy. And just like, I forgot my train of thought, I lost it. That it would be something beautiful, that death could be beautiful. Physically, however, it's fucking disgusting. Your body contorts and fucking you just writhe, and you expel all of the substances from your body, and you decompose. It's fucking gross. But, at least I don't have to be there to see that, eh? So, yeah, there is kind of a lack of physical dignity in death, but I think that there is, like, emotional dignity. Anyway, then, yeah, that brings me to the moral of the story. Death is okay. I know that you were watching this video eagerly waiting for me to tell you that it's okay for you to die, so that you know that you can do that one day. Death is okay. I'm okay with the fact that I'm going to die one day. I'm not... Well, I'm already editing this in post to put in a picture of my dog. So, I'll just remind myself at like about 20 minutes to put in the... Yeah, sorry, my videos are really fucking long. I know nobody actually sits and watches the whole thing. I look at my analytics. Am I boring you? There's this picture where it's like, you know, you've already experienced... I'll put it here. You've already experienced the great nothingness before you were born, so why are you scared of it now? I mean, obviously the reason is that now I've experienced existence and I don't want to let go of it, but yeah, you're right. Cool bug facts. You're right. I am gonna... It's just hopefully gonna be the same thing as before I was alive and I won't know the difference. Maybe I'll get reincarnated or something. I don't know. I don't know if I believe in reincarnation. That's another theory about death is, you know, reincarnation, the cycle of death and rebirth, you know, whether or not you believe in karma or, you know, samsara / nirvana, although I guess that's kind of exclusive to Buddhists, but Buddhists, not Buddhists, Buddhists, you know, whatever happens, I'll be dead. So I probably won't have time to care. I might play a song, but I might not. I might also end it here. So if I do, then bye.